Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Good news and congratulations for the English female football team, as they are currently ranked third and are among the favourites to win the World Cup, as to be expected if they're currently ranked third. But here we have an article from the Politically Correct British Broadcasting Corporation. Women's World Cup, what challenges do female players still face? Primarily not being as good as male teams. Yeah. Almost a century ago, women's football received a major setback. A ruling by the English Football Association effectively banned women from playing professional football for 50 years until 1971. Yet now, England's Lionesses rank third in the world and are among the favourites to win the FIFA Women's World Cup in France. It's a major progress since the FA changed ruling in 1971. So what are the challenges women footballers still face? Well, primarily, if we look at the price of football, full results 2017, it shows in the Premier League, we have the most expensive here being for a season ticket, Arsenal of £1,768.50, compared to the females first league if we go down. But for what it's worth, these are all multiple hundreds of pounds, except for Huddersfield there, at the cheapest being just 100. But if we eventually scroll down, Women's Super League, the most expensive is £70 for a dearer season ticket, which would explain why they're not maybe being paid as much, considering they're not nearly as popular because they can't bring in that amount of money. And the adult shirt is up to double the price of the dearest season ticket. And also, if we look at the Sun, here it says Manchester, from last year, 27th of July, Manchester United women beaten 9-0 by Salford youth team. They say, oh, they were just around for a short time, whereas the Salford team were around for a long time. Okay, cool. And if we scroll down, it says, just 3 months ago, world champions the USA warmed up for a 4-0 friendly win against Russia, well done, by losing 5-2 against FC Dallas, under 15 boys 3 months ago. So just starting to go through puberty, and you won. Well done. So that's the difference between males and females. Almost the biological difference between the sexes. Oh my god. So we've got here Alex Scott saying it's been really hard to deal with. She's saying she's received abuse online. Yes, of course, as has anyone who is in the public eye. Because I got quite excited when I received my first dislike for one of my videos, because it means that I'm actually making sufficient headway into uncharted or unpopular territory, whereby somebody has watched my video who wouldn't like my things and has therefore responded in a negative way, which means I'm not just existing in echo chambers of a very friendly group where, you know, it's obviously lovely, but it might mean nothing or not as much because I could get an inflated self-worth, but I've actually then moved past the barrier of friendly into unfriendly, and receiving negative feedback is important for progression, but also means then that I'm actually meaningful and I'm doing something worthwhile. So I like that, and I got excited, and I also congratulated my girlfriend when she received her first dislikes. Good job. So that kind of thing is, I think, important, and you should be grateful that you receive negative attention. Like when I've played football, I haven't had people jeering at me saying you're awful, and especially not crowds chanting obscenities at me as they do in popular football games, because I'm not nearly that good. But the people who are better receive negative attention as well, partly because they don't like the fact that you're good. So, in my view, you should be pleased that you're receiving negative attention, because it means that you're actually being noticed. Here we have another female footballer who has to have another job by the appearance of things, because of the fact that they're not paid all that well. Because if you're not that good, you're not going to get paid as much. Unless you're in Norway, where the male team subsidises the female team. I'm sorry, guys. So, Chelsea Grimes says she knows probably 99% more than people who are sat there watching TV from home, which I think goes into the misunderstanding that just because you haven't done very well means you don't know anything about it. Because you can have people like Ivan Lendl, who never won Wimbledon, he's a tennis player, never won Wimbledon, but coached Andy Murray to his first victory at Wimbledon. So as far as I'm concerned, that disproves that myth. It says, And it's something 22-year-old England star Leah Williamson is familiar with too. Don't worry, I don't know these names either. I've experienced all the same things most of us have the abuse online. Exactly, most of you. It's not because you're a woman, it's because you're famous. Stop trying to make it sexist. But it won't be a distraction for me in the tournament. I want people to see what we're getting up to because it will be a hell of a journey, she tells Newsbeat. Well, of course, as Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. And if you can't deal with abuse online, then you're not going to be able to deal with the pressure in the real world when you're on the football match and having obscenities chanted at you, as that is a reality. And of course, you're not going to be able to deal with the opposing players not being very nice to you, especially when nobody else can hear and they're just saying something quietly to you that nobody else is aware of. If that causes you to break down, then maybe you're not fit for playing competitively. So if you're saying that it won't be a distraction for you, then perfect. That's exactly the kind of person who's going to do well. So good luck to you. Despite the negativity being aimed at professional players online, grassroots players still feel encouraged to play. Well, they should. If something is meaningful to you and it's your dreams and aspirations, then you should not be put off by people disliking you, because it's important that you're able to overcome the negatives that people can say, because life's going to throw even worse stuff at you. It says diversity in the game because, of course, if there's a path to get on and a group to get behind who's facing harassment or abuse or not doing that well, then you've got to bring in some diversity. And here's a great thing from Melissa Nathan Pepple, I'm sorry, if only, tells Newsbeat she doesn't feel the governing bodies of the sport are doing enough to represent the black and minority ethnic community. Oh no. Younger players understand there's a current look in football at the moment which a lot of the black girls that I speak to don't fit into, she says. As in the England football team for the English people. Diversity is the foundation of every community, so I feel like bringing in people from different communities will spread the word a bit more. Diversity of ideas, sure, but of cultures, no, because that's conflict theory that says that if you have a homogenous group of people that get on and you have a high trust community, then when you let in people from different cultures, that trust then deteriorates and people no longer get on anymore. Japan being 98.5% homogenous shows that it works well, and their nationalised health service seems to be doing a good job, whereas in Britain it, of course, is not. They're not completely identical, understandably, but the fact that the culture is homogenous in Japan and not in the UK is a good example of why it isn't working so well. Regarding the BAME, black and minority ethnic community, I don't think there's enough outreach. Well, of course you don't, because you're an activist. And the pressure to perform. England's defender Alex Greenwood says decades of hard work has left women's football in a really good place. I'm glad someone is finally appreciative. The 25-year-old believes that the Lionesses performed well during the World Cup and achieved something special. They have the potential to change the game forever. I would be surprised, considering they don't do that well against the men's. And it's one of those things with equal pay, in quotation marks, Wimbledon, for example, with the tennis, where men and women get paid the same for unequal work. Yes, that's right. Because men play the best of 5 sets and women play the best of 3. And the tickets are not the same price either. They're not nearly as popular. And yet women get paid the same. So that's equal pay for unequal work. But anyway, that's it for me. But for what it's worth, I do encourage everybody to do the best at what they have to do. At least if you're not hurting anybody else. So same for everyone listening, and as I always encourage you to listen to motivational things, follow your dreams, aspirations, inspirations, goals, desires, and all that good stuff. Do something worthwhile, make a difference in the world. If you implement good habits, you won't have time for the bad habits. So have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.